Hello and welcome back to the show. We'll be talking about Dayot Upamecano. Dayot Upamecano, German international or Guinea-Bissau international, but representing German national team, and 22 years of age. So young, but he's very, very talented, very, very professional. He's a strong guy, a defender who is very, very commanding, like sweeping across the defense line there at Rb Leipzig. And he's very strong on the air. And so many clubs in the whole of Europe are really interested in this guy. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to talk about the clubs from the English Premier League that are interested in his signature. Of course, Manchester City, is out of this question because Manchester City invested so well during the summer transfer window, bringing in the likes of Ruben Dias, and of course reports now playing, and they have a lot of stock there at Manchester City, and so I don't think there is any there's any sporting sense for Manchester City to go for him, and so we are left with Tottenham not interested, and of course Leicester, they're not interested. Now the fight is between Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal. Who is gonna win the race for Dayot Upamecano? Starting from Manchester United, of course, most of the problems that Manchester United have faced this season is their defensive frailties. Because looking at their defense, Eric Bailly is not consistent. He's been out for a long time because of injuries, and no one can trust him to play even 15 games straight. And so we have Harry Maguire, who was brought in last season, very expensive, but he has not really convinced anyone that he is the right person. Of course, bearing that he came in very, very expensively, £80 million from Leicester City. And so he has not shown that he ticks the boxes for a decent defender, and so Manchester United have been thrown into the mix of this fight for Dayot Upamecano. Of course, if Dayot Upamecano makes his way to Manchester United, he will definitely improve Manchester United defensively because of his attributes that I've already mentioned. And so I don't know whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to sanction a deal for Dayot Upamecano, but if he does, I swear this is going to be a coup, because Dayot Upamecano has a 60 million euro price tag. Even with that, still that is a bargain for a guy who is 22 years of age. Of course, there's a lot that he can offer. If he doesn't make it there at Manchester United, still Manchester United can sell him and maybe make some money out of him. But again, it will be so interesting to see whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is gonna go for Dayot Upamecano. Another club is Liverpool. Now, Liverpool have a lot of injuries in their main key players. We're talking about Joe Gomez, Joe Matip, and Virgil van Dijk. And so, if there's a team that would really wish to have Upamecano, is Liverpool. But again, we're looking at a situation where these players are gonna come back, because Upamecano is going to come cheap. Because I read somewhere that he has a release clause of 38 million pounds that will come effective next summer. So if any team wants to sign him during this January transfer window, they have to pay, I think, over the odds, you have to pay more than 45 million pounds. And so I don't know whether Klopp will like to go for him, because he has shown interest. It's written there that that Liverpool really need a defensive cover, because of course they drew their game today, not because of their defensive frailties, but because there is a lot of imbalance in that team. And so it is going to be very interesting to see whether Liverpool or the hierarchy there at Liverpool are going to go for Dayot Upamecano. Another team is Chelsea. Chelsea started the league so well, but recently they have been conceding goals. Their defense looks like they blow hot and cold. One time they play so well, one time they look so fatigued, because I'm looking at a situation where now Silva, the guy who was brought in from PSG, who is in his 30s, you understand, he doesn't have a lot to offer. Of course, he offers experience, but in terms of pace, in terms of going forward, there's nothing much he can do. And so he was just brought not as the long term solution for Chelsea FC, but as a short term. And again, what that means is that Chelsea have to look out for a long term solution for their frailties, defensive frailties I'm talking about. And so it will be so interesting whether Lampard will be going for Del Upamecano. Of course, if he goes for him, the Upamecano partnership with likes of Zuma would be so deadly, and so it would be so interesting. And lastly, Arsenal Football Club, the Arsenal Football Club. If there is a team that has been linked to with Odell Upamecano for the longest time, I know is Arsenal Football Club. And last summer, I thought maybe Arsenal were going for him. There was strong links linking him to Arsenal, but they did never happened. And Upamecano finally had to extend his stay there at Rb Leipzig, of course, signing a 3-year contract extension, taking him to 2023. And so, as we talk right now, Arsenal are about to ship out a number of their defenders. We're talking about Mustafi, Socrates, and then probably who else? Rob Holding, of course, is an understudy. But even with that, releasing two defenders and not signing anyone, because the guy who was supposed to be like an understudy for these other guys is Saliba, who is more likely to leave on loan. And so what happens is that Arsenal need a commanding center back. Yeah, they need a commanding center back. And so it will be so interesting to see whether Arsenal will raise enough funds to go for the Upamecano. But again, if they do, that will be a very, very big statement of intent from Arsenal Football Club, the hierarchy, and of course Mikel Arteta, because he's been under a lot of criticism because results have not been coming. Of course, the last two games have gone to Arsenal's favor. But again, let's not forget that this is the Premier League and there's a lot of games to play, and the players get exposed game in, game out. So it will be so interesting to see where Dayot Upamecano. So I just want to give it to you. Tell me, which team do you think is gonna sign Dayot Upamecano at the end of the transfer season? Leave your comment in the comment section below, and let me see you in the next one. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.